All right, let's get started. We got a new lesson today, and this one was on it's actually just a review of linear equations day 2 that we started yesterday. So we did part 1 yesterday. We're doing part 2 today. And so here we go. We got a few bell work problems. The first one is solve an equation that's got multi-step parts to it. So it looks like we got to do a little bit of distributing on each side of this equation to solve it, which shouldn't be too hard. So 3 times 2y would be 6y minus 3 times 1 is 3, and all of that will equal 5y minus 5. And then we're just going to move all the variables to one side and all the numbers to the other. So let's start by minusing 5y from both sides. And when we say both sides, we mean both sides of the equal sign or both sides of the Great Wall of China. So we move minus 5y, which gives us just 1y minus 3 equals, these y's cancel out, and we have negative 5. So to finish this off, we just have to add 3 to both sides. Running out of room a little bit. But on the left side, we'll have y. On the right side, negative 5 plus 3 would be negative 2. So what looked kind of like an intimidating equation with variables on both sides and parentheses didn't turn out to be that bad. All right, so we also talked about finding slope on our review yesterday. And so we remembered that the slope formula, and it depends on how you want to write it, was just y1 minus y2, or you could do it y2 minus y1. And then you have x1 minus x2. So let's do our subtracting. So y1 would be 4. So we'll have 4 subtract negative 7 on top. And we'll have negative 12 minus 10 on the bottom. So 4 minus negative 7 would be 4 plus 7, which is just going to be 11. And then on the bottom, negative 12 minus 10 would be negative 22. And if you think about that, 11 will go into 22 2 times. So this is just going to be simplified to negative 1 over 2. That's just a creative way of saying negative 1/2. So that would be the slope. All right, now this next one, we're supposed to write the equation of a line. And what we're talking about is y equals mx plus or minus the y-intercept, b. Well, in this case, we can see that the line crosses the y-axis, or the y-intercept is at positive 2. Then when we look for the slope, we see that the rise is actually a fall. And then we have a run of 1. So the slope is just negative 3 over 1, or just negative 3. So then we write our equation. Y equals negative 3x plus 2. And that would be the equation of that line that has been graphed right there. All right, very good. So today we're going to, on day 2 here, we're going to do a few more things and help you get better at graphing and make sure we're ready to go ahead. So first of all, we're going to ask you to sketch the graph of this line. So if you're doing this on Alex, it's pretty easy. You'll just put a dot at the y-intercept, which is 3. And from there, we'll use the slope to count up or down and over to the next point. So this says go down 2 over 3. So we count down 2 and over 1, 2, 3. And if we have room, we can actually do it twice. Down 2 over 1, 2, 3. And then we just sketch our line. And you have a line tool on Alex that allows you to sketch the line all the way through. And it's as simple as that. Pretty nice. All right, now if we give you one that has not been solved for y yet, one of the ways to graph it is just to solve it for y. So well, let's do that. So 3x minus 4y equals 8. We need to move the x term to the other side and put it behind the equal sign. So we'll be left with negative 4y. And to move that 3x, we actually have to subtract it off, right? So we'll have equals negative 3x plus 8. Then all we have to do now is divide everything by negative 4 to finish solving it for y. And we will end up with y equals 3/4 x, and then 8 divided by negative 4 would be negative 2. So that would be the equation of the line. And then to graph it, we just find the y-intercept, which is negative 2. And we use our slope and go up 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 3 and over 4. And we sketch our line, right? Something like that. There we go. So if it hasn't been solved for y, you can solve it for y, put it in slope-intercept form, and then graph it. Another way to do it is finding the x and y intercept. So to find the x-intercept, you let y equal 0 and solve for x. And to find the y-intercept, you let x equal 0 and solve for y in any particular equation that we might give you. So here's one right here. It says find the x and y intercepts and then graph them. So we just said to find the x-intercept, let y equal 0 and solve for x. So let's do that. So to find the x-intercept, we got 2x plus 5 times 0 equals 10. So what happens when we do this is that the y term just disappears for the moment, and then we just have to divide by 2, and we end up with an x value, let the x-intercept of 5. So on the x-axis, we make a dot at 5. Now we're going to find the y-intercept. So at the y-intercept, it's told us to make x equal to 0. And then we'll find the y value. So that's going to look like this. And I think we talked about, it's kind of like the same thing as if you cut this equation in half and just set each half equal to 10 and solve for x or for y. So when we divide by 5 in this case to find the y-intercept, we end up with y equals 2. So the y-intercept is 2, and we graph or draw the line between the 2 points. I kind of missed there, got to be careful about that, maybe use a ruler, but that's how you find the intercepts and then graph the line using the intercepts. So on Alex, it'll look something like this. So let's do that again, and we'll graph those. And then you got nice tools on Alex to graph them. So the first one will have 8x equals 20 because we let the y value be 0, if you remember, which caused that to drop out. And then on the second one, we let the x value equal to 0. And when we do that, 8 times 0 is 0. So we'll be left with 4y equals 20. And now we just have to do our dividing to find our x and our y intercept. So on the first one, we divide by 8, which is going to give us 2, which is 16 and 4/8, which would be 2.5. Or if you leave it as an improper fraction, it would be 5/2. All right. Okay, and then on the y-intercept, we would just divide by 4 and you end up with a y-intercept of 5. So let's graph that one first. On the y-axis, we would go up to 5 and make a dot. Now to graph this first one, the x-intercept, you have to use this little tool right here on Alex. And when you click on it, it will allow you to type in the coordinates of this point. And since it's the x-intercept, you will type in 5/2, comma, 0, and then hit plot point. And it will plot the point for you. And then after you've done that, you'll draw a line between that 5 and this point right here, which we said is at about 2.5, so it's going to be about right there. But you need Alex to draw it for you, so it'll get it in exactly the right spot. Then you'll draw your line between the 2 points that you have, and you'll have it. Okay. Okay, now, given this table of values, they want us to first find the slope and the y-intercept and then write the equation. So to find the slope, we just look at the change in y values, which we notice happen to be +2 each time, and the change in x values, which happens to be +1 each time. So as x goes up by 1, y goes up by 2, so the change in y over the change in x is 2 over 1, which is just 2. Then at the y-intercept, that's the place where the x value is 0, we keep saying. So you find x as 0 in the x column, and then if you go down and find the y value that goes with that, that is the y-intercept. So now you're going to write your equation. So you'll go y equals 2, and I'm trying to do some colors here so you can see what's going on. 2x and then +4 would be the equation of your line, and you could graph it if you needed to, right? So there you go. So you'll have a couple of questions like that. Then we did a couple of word problems that we used we're in slope-intercept form, and we use them to calculate an answer here. So an attorney charges a fixed fee of $250 for an initial meeting and $150 per hour for all the hours that worked after that. Write an equation in slope-intercept form for that, and use C for the total charge and H for the number of hours. So instead of y equals mx plus b, we're going to use C equals, and then he said he charges $150 an hour, so that would be the slope. 150 H, and then he charges a fixed fee just to talk to him of $250. Because if you're going to talk to him for free, he could be talking to somebody else for making more money, so he's got to charge you some. So lawyers can be kind of expensive. So there's our equation, and then they want us to find out what would it cost to visit for this lawyer for 26 hours. So basically you got a little over 3 days of consultation time with him. So we do 150 times 26 plus 250. So let's grab our calculator and let's figure that out. So we'll pull that over here. So 150 times 26 equals, and then we got to add on the 250, that extra fee. So it's going to cost, if you want to talk to him for 26 hours, let's double check that. That was $4,150. $4,150. So pretty good money. In fact, if you think about it, on a 40-hour work week, so this is not even 40 hours, and he's going to make at least $4,100 a week which if he has that much work to do, he's going to be making $16,000 to $20,000 a month. That's pretty good pay. Okay, so one more word problem. Allie is putting money into a checking account. That Y represents the total number of money in the account in dollars, and that X represents the total number of weeks Allie has been adding money. Suppose that X and Y are related by the equation 4X plus 350 equals Y. So this is a slope-intercept equation. They've just kind of written it backwards. Note that the change can be an increase or a decrease. What is the change per week in the amount of money in the account? So the change per week would be $40. That's this amount right here. What was the starting amount of money in the account? That's the 350 right there. And there's your two amounts. Okay, pretty nice, right? Okay, so our assignment is number 38, January Review, Part 2, January Review Linear Equations, Review number 2 on Alex. And we'll hand out a work paper for you. So that'll be it. Thank you very much.